Well, welcome back to the homestead. Today's episode, I'm hoping to be able to finish up our painting. So, in the last couple days, my wife and I have been coming out and we've managed to get everything painted in the house with the exception of the office that I'm standing in and then the master bedroom closet. So today I'm out here and I'm hoping to get those two things finished painted, and then once I've got those finished, I got just a couple of spots I want to go back and touch up. And when we're done touching all of that up, then I'm going to try and get all of the paint supplies, the airless rig, the empty cans, the rollers, the brushes, and all of that mess out of the house, load it up in the truck to go home and get everything cleaned up real good. And then once that's out of the house, my wife and my mother-in-law are coming out and they're going to do a cleaning on the floors. So they're going to sweep and mop and vacuum and all that to get all of the sheetrock dust from where they did the knockdown texture on the ceiling and the walls. There is a ton of dust that gets created from that. So they're going to do a deep clean, try and get all that stuff out of the house, and then once we're done with that, then we'll be ready to go back and start finishing up the electrical. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started on the cut-in. And for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the ceiling and I'm going to put the green frog tape, 2-inch wide strip, so that I can run a roller by it without getting any paint on the ceiling. I'm going to tape all the way around the ceiling, and then I'll come back and I'll do a section just big enough that I can reach to each side off of the ladder. I'll caulk the seam where the tape is with clear caulk. I'll wipe that down with a rag to feather it into the wall, and that'll prevent any paint from getting under the edge of the tape. Then I'll come back with a brush and roller and I'll paint that section. And as soon as I finish painting it, I'll brush the paint on, then I'll do a 4-inch roller over it to put texture on it, and then I'll immediately come back and pull the tape off of that section. And that way the paint doesn't have time to get tacky and dry, and when you pull the paint off with it wet like that, you get a nice crisp line. So we're going to do that section by section all the way around the room. Once we've got all that done, then we can start rolling. So let's go ahead and get started on it. All right, so we finished painting the office, and while the paint was drying, I went ahead and went downstairs and painted the master closet and did a little bit of touch-up work here and there. And then I got all the paint supplies out of the house. And I went through and I took pictures of what each room looks like now that they're all painted. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you those now. Now I apologize, I don't have a real wide angle lens, so some of the smaller rooms are a little hard to photograph, but I did the best I could and I hope you can tell something from them. So let's take a look at that. All right, so as you can see, the house is really coming along. Everything's starting to look more and more like a home rather than a construction site, and we're pretty excited. So now that I've gotten everything out of the house, my wife and mother-in-law are going to come out and finish sweeping, mopping, and vacuuming the house out to get all the sheetrock dust out. And then I'm going to come back and start putting in the switches and outlets. Now, the electrical company says they'll be done running my power lines by October 11th, but I'm not certain that they're really going to make that date. I hope they do, but I'm not too optimistic of it. But at any rate, once they run the power lines in, all I have to do is bury a conduit from the last power pole up to the house, and then they'll pull the electrical lines in and we'll finally be connected to the grid and be able to flip a switch and have lights. So that'll be much nicer than what we've had in the past, where we've always had to come out and crank a generator up and run it and have cords stretched everywhere and all that. So at any rate, sometime late October, early November, we're hoping to have electricity out here, and then we'll start working on doing things like trimming out the windows. So until then, y'all keep checking back.